immediately. For Manchester United, Hojlund is available on loan. It's an initial loan and it's not a free loan. So let me explain. For Manchester United, the Hojlund deal can happen. Loan, by option, not mandatory. Over 40 million euros, around 45. Loan fee around 6-7 million euros. Salary covered. These are the conditions of the Rasmus Hojlund deal for Manchester United. AC Milan have big interest in this deal. AC Milan already spoke to intermediaries to start the conversations. What's the point? Why the deal is not advanced at the final stages yet? Because Hojlund, as of today, even after the game, still maintains the same position. He wants to stay at Man United, fight for his place and compete. We will see, guys, because obviously Man United will have to convince Hojlund to go, and not playing him one single minute was probably a strong message to the player. But at the moment, still no green light to the move from Rasmus Hojlund. So we will have to follow and see what happens with this situation, because Milan are there, but still the player side is needed. On Manchester United, guys, I told you last night, Man United maintain contacts with the agents of Carlos Baleba, and I want to confirm that. Manchester United are speaking again and again, even today, with the agents of Carlos Baleba, about the contract, about the salary. So Man United on player side want to advance, and then see what happens with Brighton. At the moment, with Brighton, it's still not something advanced or concrete or easy. They know that Brighton wall remains very high, but the contacts are still ongoing. The player is not closing doors to Manchester United. And so Man United, from what I feel, they want to try. They want to try and say, okay, we believe Baleba is the perfect player. We are very happy with our market because Man United signed Beumo, Cunha, Šeško players they wanted. Now they say, if we can get the perfect midfielder, good. Otherwise, we will move on. But Man United want to try. And this is why, even today, on a Saturday, they continue to speak with the agents of Baleba. And the contract is a topic that for Manchester United would not be a problem. So let's see what's going to happen there. But for sure, it's an interesting situation to follow. Meanwhile, we have to respect Brighton and say that Brighton don't want to sell the player and will make Man United life in this deal very, very difficult. Big news, guys.
There have been developments, haven't there?
There have been developments. One thing we've known all summer is that Chelsea like the player, but Manchester United want £50 million to sell Alejandro Garnacho this summer. It's not as if they don't think he's a good player. It's just, it looks like he needs to move on in terms of maybe the relationship he's got with Ruben Amorim. He was very unhappy with his Europa League final snub. He's made that very public. But the key from Chelsea's point of view, they think they can sign Garnacho for less than Manchester United's asking price. But there hasn't been a bid yet. And going back to Manchester United's side, he's got 3 years remaining on his contract at United. You feel that this probably will get done, but for what price, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Manchester United valuing him at £50 million because they'll look at other players that have gone for that amount as well, the likes of Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, Noni Madueke, who actually left Chelsea for Arsenal. But I mentioned a couple of those other players. Jadon Sancho and Anthony are two of the big ones that potentially could bring in money for Manchester United. Borussia Dortmund, we're told, remain in talks with Sancho's representatives over a deal, while dialogue remains open with United. No agreement on either at the moment, though it is thought he could be available for significantly less than the £25 million obligation price that Chelsea had when they signed him on loan last season. As for Anthony, there is plenty of interest in Anthony, but he's got one destination in his mind. It is Real Betis. He had such a fantastic loan spell with them last season. So as much as United will be positive about Benjamin Sesko coming in, they still do need to make these sales before the end of the transfer window. That said, you mentioned close to £200 million being spent in this transfer window if and when Sesko's deal is confirmed. But are they stopping there?
Well, I don't think they will. I mean, I think the key for Manchester United is getting those players out, the ones you've mentioned. I think Marcus Rashford to Barcelona is a great move for him. It's wages as well. It's not just necessarily transfer fee, it's big wages they're on. What else do Manchester United do? When I look at Manchester United, I think, brilliant. That new forward line, great. But then I look at the midfield. Needs a bit of a revamp. And obviously there's talk of interest in Carlos Belver in the midfield from Brighton. We know, as you've mentioned, interest in Donnarumma from PSG. We'll wait and see if that happens. I think that would be an upgrade on Onana. I'm sure that would be as well. So they still need to do business, Manchester United. However, you look at so many clubs and you think, are we ready for the start of the Premier League season? You'd say probably 18, 19 will say no. But are you ready for day one? They'll say, let's give it a go.
You say, let's give it a go. you talk about Baleba. I mean, there's one thing being interested in Carlos Baleba, but